Good morning, everybody. I'm meteorologist Rod Hill, along with...
Hello, I'm Chris McGinness.
Boy, I tell you what, yesterday it did not clear in Portland. The high out of PDX was 44 degrees. About a 10-degree difference it can be this time of the year between we didn't get the sun versus, wow, it's sunny outside.
So we broke down and had a ambience fire in the fireplace last night.
Felt
nice.
good? Yeah, felt good.
Nice. Had good, dry, crackling wood, by the way.
Nice.
You know, we talked about.
We did talk about the importance of that.
Yes.
Yeah. I had a fireplace. I had wood once. I miss it. Now I have the gas thing. You go pop.
Oh, well, that instant
nice,
gratification is pretty good too, right?
All right, let's get you going. So, you know, today's easy. We're not going to have any weather, if you will, in terms of precipitation. We had some spritzy moisture in the air from the low cloud deck early this morning. And this afternoon, if we clear out of the low deck, we'll warm into the 50s. If we don't, we'll be in the 40s. But you're looking at that elongated cloud band offshore. That's a weakening front that will come in tomorrow. Now, Futurecast likes us getting sun this afternoon. Futurecast liked us getting sun yesterday, and it never happened. So we'll see how that plays out. But here comes the march of rain by 11 o'clock or so tomorrow morning. Pretty wet into the area. The front comes through around midday, and then scattered showers into the evening behind it. We don't think the rain amounts are anything to write home about. Maybe not only under a quarter of an inch, but perhaps even under 0.2 of an inch of total rain tomorrow. Snow levels will be around the Cascade Passes, where a few inches of snow will be possible. 7-day forecast. I like Valentine's Day being pretty quiet. Probably not a 0% chance of rain, but I like it being pretty quiet. And then Saturday, rain picks up during the day. The front comes in around midnight or so Saturday night, and it's Saturday evening into the night that the rain amounts will get kind of hefty. And some of the models are still suggesting Saturday-Sunday combo. Could be an inch of rain for the Rose City, so we will look forward to that, sir.
And that easily translates to a good weekend up on the slopes.
Yeah.
We can dial that in a little more. Maybe tomorrow we'll talk about that, show some snowfall projections, because it looks good. Cameron J is already, I said that yesterday, didn't I? Shaking his head. Yeah.
Cameron J is very excited.
All right, stop talking about my snow and get on to your story.
Okay.
So, of course, in addition to doing weather, you know, I do a little traffic once in a while, too. Wear the traffic hat. I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you like driving?
I suppose generally, yes. I would say generally,
Would
yes.
you like being chauffeured around?
I would like the feel of the importance of it, that I would be in the back seat waving at people.
Would you miss driving? Would you miss driving?
I think, honestly, throughout time, I would, yes.
Okay, there's a reason why I'm asking this. Let's go ahead and take the other source here. I put this question on my Facebook page yesterday. Would you miss driving? And what I asked was, imagine a future with self-driving, Lyfts, Ubers, taxis. I mean, those are just a few of the many services out there, and far less car ownership than today. And what I mean by that, again, these are autonomous vehicles. A computer would come, you know, computer-driven car would come pick you up and drive you around. And I'm asking this question because it's for a piece that we're doing next week on the future.
The future.
and my segment of that is the future of transportation. So, got a couple of cool comments on here. Joe Judman says, "Heck yes, I like driving, despite slow traffic and other drivers."
Yeah.
And then I replied to him. I said, "Joe, would you miss the daily slog?" He's like, "No, but I would miss the feeling of being in control of the vehicle." Greg chimed in. He says, I would miss the aspect of driving. I wouldn't miss the extra financial responsibility, insurance, gas, maintenance that comes with vehicle ownership."
Well, that's true. I would think it'd be cheaper overall, right?
So I've got a couple of good points to that as well. Teresa says, "I like to drive, so yeah, I would miss it." And then Amy says, "Hopefully I won't be dead by this time. This happens to society.
Yeah.
I like to drive, and self-driving cars freak me out." Okay, yes. First of all, there are no self-driving cars, you know, widely available in production right now at this point in the United States. But it is, again, the topic was the future and the future of transportation, and you know, we're kind of going that way to lead to self-driving autonomous vehicles on the road. And then the next logical step from that, after talking with ODOT a couple weeks ago, is how do we, you know, plan for this with infrastructure, with, you know, various safety requirements. And okay, so that's one big headache, but beyond that, could you imagine a world getting to your cost point where you are part owner of a shared vehicle, like a car share, where, you know, maybe 10 people have ownership of that car, and you just dial it up. I mean, you work it out so you're on different schedules or whatnot, but you work it out so that you're all sharing the cost, and you just dial it up when you need it. It takes you to work, and then it goes back and schedules another ride.
That doesn't sound good to me. But then I don't even like borrowing people's clothes, to be honest. I like having my own stuff.
Well, that's even. Hold on. That's way more personal than cars. So that's an interesting point.
I like having my own stuff. Yeah.
Sure. Would you like to have a autonomous Mercedes SUV that costs you all of $5,000 to be part owner of?
Yeah, let me back up. I suppose I would be open and easily get used to about anything that reasonably fit into my schedule. Does that make sense?
So maybe a limited number of people that you share it with. The reason I bring that up is because our futurist, this is an interesting not segue, but kind of tease to a person that we're going to bring on the show next week in various interviews. Yeah. His job is to project the future.
What it's going to be like.
And it's really, really cool, some of the stuff that he had to say. But on my angle with the transportation, he said, you know what? You know what the average car does? 95% of the time, your car is sitting down in that parking lot or sitting in your garage at home. 95%. That is cost inefficiency and user inefficiency and whatever, and not to mention space inefficiency. Imagine if we could alleviate congestion on the roads by having fewer cars, but they were more in use, right?
Right.
I mean, these are all, again, I'm not advocating for any of this. I'm just thinking of alternative possibilities of the future. Yeah. For me, I think I like packing up the family and going for a road trip, and I like the idea of captaining that ship over the mountain and going over to Central Oregon. I love that. That's fun. Yeah. But I would also like that 4 hours back where I'm just kind of like sitting there and, hey, you know what? We'll just pop up the movie and I'll sit here and play with my kids and talk to my wife the whole time. And that 4 hour time is money. Yeah. Time is valuable. And that time that you're behind the wheel, even if it's on those lovely, nice excursions, if you're taking that epic cross-country road trip, and that's fun, but that's time that really, you got to be focused on driving.
The image you put in my mind would be very much like today's world, but if I were taking the bus or taking the Amtrak train up to Seattle. Instead of worrying about staying in my lane, I'm kind of relaxing, I'm reading a book, I'm watching a movie, in your case, playing with Patrick and your new young one.
Except in that case, you're in your own vehicle, not even sharing it with like an Amtrak train car full of whatever. So it's an interesting possibility. One we're going to dive into a little bit. We've got a number of pieces that are future focused. What does the next decade look like in Portland?
And that's next week.
Next week, and so my little part of that's going to be focused on the transportation angle and how things may or may not change and what will have to happen in order for other changes to happen. And I will say this, talking to these ODOT folks was actually really enlightening and also a huge headache, because I'm thinking, they have to stay on top of the rapidly changing technology, only to have it change again and again and again, because the rate of change is so, it's like that. I guess every industry feels that pain, but this is it's interesting. I'll say that. So I look forward to kind of putting that together and sharing that with our viewers next week.
So basically, you're saying by the time we spend the multi-billions of dollars to get a new interstate bridge, bridges will be obsolete at that time. We'll be flying over the Columbia River.
Well, in 10 years, autonomous vehicles might be, and this guy likes the idea of transportation under the river, through subways, through the air, whatever. Not you driving your own little hovercraft, but maybe mass transit air transportation. So
I'm going to go with Amy and say, not hopefully I'll be dead by that time, but I like my odds of I'll be dead by that time. But maybe it's going to happen sooner than we think.
So obviously we're doing this a lot with your comments. Thank you for chiming in on my Facebook page. Of course, the predominant topic we do is weather. We love to hear your questions and whatnot. We're happy to answer those. But I wanted to throw this one out there too, because it's got me captivated here as I put the story together over the next day or two. So have a good day.